My name's Bobby Trice, and I'm the Program Assistant for Quaker Outreach here at the Friends Committee on National Legislation. We are a nonpartisan Quaker lobby in the public interest. We advocate in Congress for policies that promote Quaker values, including equality, which is why our criminal justice program is focusing on making Pell Grants accessible to incarcerated people. I'm sitting down today with one of our criminal justice lobbyists, Jodi, to talk a little bit about Pell Grants, why they're so important to incarcerated people, and why FCNL is advocating for Pell Grants from a place of Quaker faith. So, Joe, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you care about criminal justice issues?
Sure. Like Bobby said, my name is Jodi. I am the Program Assistant for Criminal Justice and Election Integrity here at FCNL. The reason I care about criminal justice is because I agree with the quote that you can judge a society based on how you treat its prisoners. And right now we have a criminal legal system that's really based on revenge and punishment and retribution, not based on sort of redemption and improvement. And I want to see us create a criminal justice system that is based on that improvement and that redemption, the restorative justice we hear talked a lot about. Because I think it's important that, when a person makes a mistake, that, obviously they see the mistake they've made and that they be made better for it. And right now we have a system that's really based on cycles of incarceration with people, coming in, doing their time and coming out sometimes, in a worse place than when they went in due to the very nature of how we incarcerate people through things like solitary confinement where people, we do serious, mental damage to the people who are involved. And, they become isolated from their communities in a way that's really harmful, not just, for themselves, but for their communities. I mean, we really rob communities of these individuals who have the potential to be really great, adders to their community, and just because they've oftentimes made a mistake, and that's really what it is, a mistake. So I think it's really important that, we work toward building a criminal justice system built on, that redemption, that improvement. And I think that's really where Pell Grants come in. It's a great way to help, people have that opportunity to improve themselves and have access to things that, they wouldn't have had before, that they leave, their incarceration facility better than when they came in.
Absolutely. Could you speak a little bit more to what Pell Grants are and how they can benefit incarcerated people?
Sure. So Pell Grants are a need-based grant system that the federal government uses, and it's one of the largest programs the federal government offers to help people afford secondary education. So Pell Grant is just, it's an amount of money that you can apply for on a need-based basis for the federal government that you can use for colleges, universities, or other vocational education. So whether that be internships, certificate programs, anything like that, so long as it's your first time getting a secondary degree. And it's like I said, it's need-based, so it really helps those who would otherwise not have the opportunity to seek secondary education. And it's really important for incarcerated individuals because oftentimes incarcerated individuals don't have access to the money that they would need to otherwise afford it. And because of that lack of money, oftentimes colleges and universities and vocational programs don't come to incarceration facilities because they can't afford to. And so by allowing incarcerated individuals to have access to Pell Grants, we really help ensure that there's this pot of money that everyone can use and pull from to help achieve that secondary education. And it's really important because the data suggests that it reduces recidivism for those who come out, so it can help really break that cycle of incarceration, so that when you come out, you now have a degree or a certificate that says you're a welder now, or another kind of vocational program that can really help you give you that leg up to not come back to prison, which is really important. And it demonstrates that sort of the most successful thing that a prison can be is one that you never have to use, and the second best it can be is one you only have to use once. And with Pell Grants for incarcerated individuals, we can really help move it toward that. Also, it helps to restore the dignity to those who are incarcerated. Like I touched on earlier, oftentimes incarceration facilities really rob people of their dignity and their humanity. And education is great for incarcerated individuals for all the reasons it's great for everyone. That it really helps, it broadens your horizons. It really, it gives you access to a whole new world that you might not have had without it. And it can do things that just as simple as, having an incarcerated individual be able to help their child with their homework. It is just a really powerful way to restore their humanity and help to break the generational cycles of incarceration we see. It can also help, incarcerated individuals to guide their friends toward, seeking a secondary education themselves, or just guide them toward a better path. That, it gives them more tools in their toolkit than if they didn't have it. So I think it's really important that incarcerated individuals have access to it.
Absolutely, it's incredibly important. So could you speak a little bit more to FCNL's moral stance on mass incarceration and Pell Grants, and why as a Quaker organization are we advocating for a more just and redemptive criminal justice system?
Sure. So one of the fundamental testimony of Quakerism is that of God in everyone. And, FCNL is dedicated in all of its programs to building systems that see that of God in everyone. And, with the criminal legal system, it's no different. We want a criminal legal system that sees that of God in everyone. Also, as a Quaker myself, I feel a sense of, ownership over this issue because, Quakers, a lot of people don't know this, were some of the people who helped to develop the modern prison system, particularly in Philadelphia. If you've ever been to Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, that was sort of the first modern prison. It was the Quakers had a really big part in developing it. And certainly they had the best of intentions because, before modern prisons weren't great either. Everyone was held together. There was a lot of violence, even more so than in today's prison. So they were working with a bad system, but with their, with the best thing at the time, they ended up developing, solitary confinement and other, really damaging things that we still stick with today with the modern, prison facilities. So, as a Quaker, I think it's important that, with our action we do today, we undo some of the damage that was done in the past, especially when it was done, by our forebears. I also think it's important, like I said, we're seeing that of God in everyone and giving everyone access to that, to that Quaker testimony of equality that, just because a person's incarcerated, that doesn't make them any less a person. That doesn't mean that they should have any less opportunity than those who are unincarcerated. That, what we have are people who've obviously made mistakes and can and will improve if given the opportunity. But right now we have a system that doesn't really give them that opportunity. And through our work, we can really help to right that wrong.
Absolutely. And so can other people, right?
Exactly.
Could you speak a little bit to how people can advocate with FCNL to make a difference in the lives of incarcerated people by making Pell Grants accessible to them?
Yeah, sure. So there are tons of resources on fcnl.org in our criminal justice section, all about both Pell Grants and our broader, criminal justice advocacy. We advocate on a number of criminal justice issues, not just Pell Grants. And people can really make a big difference by just speaking to their member of Congress, calling their office, doing a drop-by either here in DC with FCNL or doing a drop-by at home when their member of Congress is in their district. And just having that public pressure, that public outcry can really help to move the needle on these issues, to let people know that an incarcerated individual is no less my brother or my sister just because they're incarcerated. And that, when we call on our members of Congress to see that of God in incarcerated individuals the way we see that of God in incarcerated individuals, we can really help to move that needle, not just on Pell Grants, but on a wide range of criminal justice issues.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today, Joe. Audience out there, now you know a little bit more about FCNL's criminal justice advocacy, about why we're supporting Pell Grants for incarcerated people, and what you can do to make a difference in the lives of incarcerated individuals. Like Joe said, we have lots of opportunities for you to advocate with us. Everyone deserves the educational opportunities that Pell Grants afford people, especially incarcerated students and individuals. So take action with us today. You can go to fcnl.org/PellGrants to contact your members of Congress about this issue and raise your voice to make that difference. If you're ready to take the next step in your advocacy, you can go to fcnl.org/criminaljustice, like Joe was saying earlier, to read more about the different types of criminal justice advocacy we do. And you can go to fcnl.org/actlocal to get resources on how to drop by your member of Congress's local office to advocate for Pell Grants for prisoners, just like Joe was saying. And finally, if you don't know really what your next step is in this advocacy, you can connect with our organizing team at fcnl.org/connect. We'll have a conversation about the best way for you to make change in your community, and we'll move forward together. Our society needs equity and justice for all. It cannot wait, and Pell Grants are one way to get there. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.